how does manifestation actually work? How can you take control of it? And why would you be interested in it at all? In this video, I am not only going to explain to you how manifestation works, whether conscious or unconscious, but also give you all the reasons why you actually want to be interested in it. Because once you understand the law of assumption and start to apply the principles of it consciously, it can be life-changing, because you can manifest any situation into your life or out of your life that you desire. And I am really choosing my words carefully here, because in your physical reality, you're going to experience the things changing. In reality, what you are doing is choosing. So since my channel is relatively new, I thought this was a good video especially for the beginning, so that for many reasons. First of all, so that the beginners have some place to start. If any one of you watching this is really a beginner, you have just learned about manifestation, this video is definitely for you. But also for everyone else, just so you have an understanding of how I explain the law, how what I teach and what I have done, because this all comes from my own experience. I have manifested more things than I really can count. So I am going to give to you what I have experienced, the things that have worked for me. And also, to be honest, for everyone who is advanced, sometimes the more advanced we get with this, the more we tend to complicate things. And you will notice, if you choose to subscribe to my channel and follow my guidance, my videos here, you will notice that I tend to go back to the basics very often, if not always, because the basics are where you start, and it's actually all you need. You can build everything on the basics, which isn't even a good word in this case, because it's really the fundamental stuff. If you know it, if you remember how the law works, it always helps in those situations where you might have doubts, you might doubt yourself, the outcome, the law itself. Remembering the basics is really helpful for the advanced also. So I highly, highly recommend, if you are very experienced in conscious manifesting, whenever you have any problems at all, go back to the basics, which is going to be the topic of this video. So you, of course, I'm pretty sure that you, like me, like maybe everyone else, have also learned that things happen to us and then we have an emotional reaction. With this explanation, it can be anything, with people, with money, with health, any situation. First, it happens. This is, by the way, not true, but this is what we learn, that things happen, and then we have an emotional reaction and thoughts about it. There are lots of problems with this explanation, of course, because then you have no understanding of why something happens and why you have that emotional reaction. The truth is, and this is where we go to manifestation, and manifestation happens whether you are aware of it or not. And here comes the good reason to be aware and conscious of it and actually apply it to your advantage, because if you don't, it's going to work anyway, just not to your advantage. In reality, how it works is that first we have the belief, and then it gets pushed out. It's everything that you experience in your external reality, in your physical reality, what we tend to call 3D, right? It has been manifested from your inner world. Your inner world is all the non-physical parts of you. It's the beliefs, it's the repeated thoughts that then become beliefs / assumptions, hence the law of assumption, and everything you assume to be true has to be experienced. Everything that is impressed on your subconscious mind, which then becomes the assumption, the belief, has to be expressed. The way it works is that your subconscious mind, everything that there is in it, it has to prove it back to you. So whatever you hold in your subconscious mind as true, your own subconscious mind has to prove it to you. So it manifests situations where your belief is true. And then when you have an emotional reaction, that's the programming that you already had that got triggered from the situation that you yourself manifested. Now, in the beginning, when people hear this and they are not aware that this is the way things go, some people tend to just discard it. That's not true. I could never have manifested something like that in my life. Or they start blaming themselves for things that have happened that maybe they wouldn't want to happen. You don't need to blame anyone, and taking responsibility of it actually gives you a lot of power. You have manifested things without knowing you manifested it. The horrible relationship, health issues, money problems, anything that you have experienced in your life. You didn't know you were manifesting. If you knew, you wouldn't, of course. So please be aware that no one is blaming you, and be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, because you are not going to help yourself by blaming yourself, by feeling guilty. And on the other hand, when you take responsibility of it, it gives you all the power. Because if we learn that everything in our external reality comes from the inside, from the inner world, from the internal reality, which is your wonderful human imagination, as Neville Goddard puts it, you know that anything that you want to experience differently in your life also has to come from inside of you. Because, and this is one of my favorite analogies, and it also comes from Neville Goddard, your external reality is a mirror of your internal reality. Your 3D experience only shows you what you are holding in your mind. And when you want to change something, you don't go to the mirror. And you might have noticed that when you try to fix things in the 3D, it's struggle. You struggle, because when you try to fix things in the physical, you are trying to fix the symptom. And what we want to do is to change the cause, which is your imagination, which is something that you hold in your imagination. That again gives you all the power, because it's in your hands. You are not working with the external. And this is actually something that a lot of people forget, even in the conscious manifesting community, that you don't change things on the outside. And this is the reason that I said in the beginning that I'm choosing my words carefully, because your experience, yes, is going to be that something changed. But you are not changing something on the outside. In reality, you are changing, but it's your thinking. It's what you continuously imagine. And an even better explanation than changing that is that you are choosing. You are choosing something new. And when you focus on it, there are different techniques, and I will talk about the different techniques that I have used myself with great success. And by the way, in order for you to know, and this goes both for the beginners and for the advanced, if you come across something new, you want to give it a try, the creative power is in your imagination. So if the technique works with your imagination, then there's a good chance it works. But if it's something that is going to manipulate in the 3D, do stuff that is not going to change your assumption or your belief about it, probably maybe try, but probably discard it, because the creative power is in your imagination. Everything else is just showing you what you are creating. So basically, that is how manifestation works, and it works whether you're aware of it or not. When you're not aware of it, what happens is that things happen. You don't realize that you are holding a belief about it. That's why it happens. Sometimes the belief is not about the situation itself or the person you're dealing with. Sometimes the belief is about yourself, that you are not loved, you are for some reason not good enough. Now I'm giving general examples. Sometimes it's very general, sometimes it's very specific. And that manifests a situation where you feel like that. So that feeling you have already is being triggered, and you react to it, and then it reinforces the belief that you for some reason are not good enough, for example, if that's the problem. And then you keep manifesting the same situation, reinforcing the belief, and it goes on and on like that. The reason I say you want to be conscious of it is that when something happens that you don't enjoy, you don't want more of, you realize that it happened because you hold a belief about it, you have an assumption about it. And if you go inside and you change your thinking habits, basically your imagination, that situation on the outside has to change, because it's a mirror of your inner world. It's going to show you what you have shifted to, right? I hope this makes sense. So anything on the outside that you don't enjoy, you don't like, don't even try to fix it on the outside. Go inside. This is where the cause is. You change the cause, the mirror is going to change like magic. So again, a good reminder, a very basic, not again basic, but also fundamental thing to remember, both for beginners and for very advanced and experienced conscious manifestors, is that when something happens on the outside, before you react to it, try to remember how it works. The outside world, my physical experiences completely depend on what I keep in my imagination. Which means that if I change my imagination, the external world, which depends on my imagination, has to follow my imagination. So wherever my imagination goes, that is where the 3D reality has to go to. So that is the law. This is law. This is a universal law. This doesn't depend on anything, on who you are, what story you've had, on the economy, on your government or whatever. The law says whatever gets impressed into your subconscious mind has to be expressed. Which means that you have complete control in what's going on in your mind, right? It's your imagination. You can choose your thoughts. You can choose thoughts to make become your beliefs. You can choose what to imagine. You can choose anything you do in your imagination. That's for you to choose. And that by using whatever technique that you find works best for you or works best in that situation, once it's in there, it has to show in the physical reality. Before I finish the video, I have manifested things without believing in the thing itself that it could manifest, but by reminding myself that if I, for example, the simplest thing to manifest, the simplest way to manifest, or maybe one of the simplest ways to manifest, repeating a thought over and over. I absolutely didn't believe it could happen. I could not see how something like that could happen. But I knew that if I kept thinking about the how, I would just keep myself in that. It's a trap. Don't do that. What I did was, and I have done this several times, by the way, this is not one-time manifesting. I said to myself, I admitted to myself, I have no idea. I can see how this is going to happen, but I know that if I keep repeating the thought, it's going to get into my subconscious mind, and you don't even need to be that technical. If I keep repeating the thought, it has to happen in my reality. I don't know how. That's not even your job to figure out how. You have your subconscious mind to do that for you. It has to happen. That's the law. And that is all you need to remember. That is the way it works. First, it's on the inside, and then it gets pushed out on the outside to show you the proof of your belief. This gives you all the power, all the control, if you choose to take control of it, which of course I highly recommend you do, because it can be life-changing. It is life-changing once you start applying it. So I really enjoyed making this video for you. Actually, I'm so passionate about this topic. I could talk about it without stopping, but I'm going to stop now. I really hope you enjoyed it too. Subscribe to my channel, help me spread the message, and see you in the next video.